Thank you everyone. Welcome back to our YouTube channel on the sexual harassment in the workplace. At the last episode, we discussed on. I don't think I need to introduce myself. I remain Aina-Pelemo from Faculty of Law, Redeemer University. But however, in our last episode, we discussed on the legal provisions for sexual harassment in the workplace, and then we also talk about the remedies that accrue to survivors of sexual harassment. So as it is, we ended by saying that we'll be considering the harassment of men in the workplace. So we're going to, with me, I have a guest in the studio or on my platform. With me here is, can you introduce yourself, sir?
Yeah, I'm Dr. Paul Ejimbi, lecturer in the Department of International Law and Jurisprudence, Benue State University.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me.
So before we commence the theme of discourse, I think it's essential we appreciate all our viewers, our subscribers. You have actually made this channel worthwhile. You have made it possible for us to continue to deliberate and to discuss on this theme of discourse, which is sexual harassment. Thank you for hitting the red button. Thank you for your subscription, and thank you for your view, and we appreciate you. Please keep doing that so that you can get to the peak of the channel. However, we will start with the object of the day. So my guests will lead us into the topic.
Dr. Pelemo, I would like to ask you, what is male harassment?
Male harassment is similar with the definition of female harassment, or the general definition of harassment, of sexual harassment. So, harassment generally is unwanted, unsolicited social behavior that demeans, that frustrates, that intimidates, and that affects the recipient to the point that it hinders the recipient from performing to the fullest of his or her ability in the course of productivity. So that's the general definition that goes to male as well as to female.
Now, can you tell us if there is a thin line between the sort of sexual harassment experienced by male and the female? Is there a difference?
I think before we go into that, having discussed harassment generally, let's discuss, is there anything like male harassment? I'm a female. I might not be able to say it like the way it seems because of my gender.
Right.
But you are a male. You understand what it means for you to experience sexual harassment, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what does it mean? Is there anything like male harassment? Allusion on my part?
Oh, that's a very good question. There is male harassment, and I'll give you a biblical context of it. You know the story of Joseph in the Bible. He suffered harassment in the hands of Potiphar's wife, and Joseph had to run away for his dear life. So there is male harassment in different forms and ramifications.
Okay, so do men experience sexual harassment just like female?
Yes, it may not be the same sort of harassment, but they do experience various forms of harassment in the society.
Okay, to my own view, or based on the research that I've conducted or that I've studied, or the previous studies I've examined, I know that sexual harassment may denote unwanted sexual attributes or advances, or sexual coercion or gender harassment from same-sex marriage or gender or opposite sex. The opposite sex, that means from female or from their co-male counterparts. So they have different types of or different forms of sexual harassment. When it has to do with men, we have the sexual coercion, we have unwanted sexual attention, we have lewd comments, sexual jokes, negative remarks, as well as harassment for engaging in feminine clothes. So I think we discussed the forms of sexual harassment that's faced by men. So we want to talk about like 2 or 3 examples for you to be able to understand what we're talking about. Men, the examples of harassment that men experience. For example, you see female telling a man that you look so good and you look more like a lady. You have butts, you have hips, your voice is like a lady, You know, those things that you feel that when they talk about the futures, when ladies are being discussed with, they see it as a form of harassment. The same thing applies to men. So I'll allow my guests to tell us example of the kind of examples that of harassment that men experience.
Oh, that's very insightful, what you are giving so far. In addition to that, you see, sometimes they give you undue attention. They come around you and they want to be around you all the time. They try to, they just share their private life with you. They want to tell you things. They want to even cook for you. They want to do, things like that. But their kind of harassment is somehow subtle. It's sort of covert, but they do. They also. So
are you saying the kind of harassment that women harasses men is the kind that they can overlook? Is that what you're trying to say? If it's subtle, is enough that it doesn't cause any harm to them? Are you saying it doesn't cause any harm to them?
It does. It does. Particularly, when it's unwanted.
So it simply means that what is good for the goose is good for the gander. If you want the law to be at the optimal utility or strength in the society, it has to apply to everybody. Like in a region, like the example you started, in a region like Asia region, that Asia continent, and specifically in India, where they have majority are men as compared to female. The law is supposed to protect majority as opposed to minority. Theirs is the opposite. They are not protect the minority and leave the majority. So how will such law be potent enough to sensitize or sanitize issues of that magnitude in the society?
In other words, in the Indian context, there's nothing like.
So it is very important you have. That's what it means. It means that there's no male harassment in India if they are protecting the female. Does it indicate that they are not subjected to harassment, or they are not capable of, or female are not capable of harassing me? So that's an issue that needs to be pondered on. Like in their constitution, they said in section 51 precisely of the constitution of India, it says that everybody should be treated with equal treatment. So if that be the case, why protect only women at the employment or at workplace and exclude men that are the majority in society from protection? That is another form automatically of harassment and discrimination at workplace. But in a place that you don't even have law, like we don't have national law on sexual harassment in Nigeria, but we have the VAP Act, Violence Against Persons Act 2015, that defines a rape to encompass both male and female, stating that a man can also be subject to rape. But in our criminal code or criminal law or criminal code law and penal code, it clarifies that there is nothing like rape of men. There's a definition for rape that covers men. But in VAP Act, that has erased the error to an extent, although it's not a national law that applies, but several other regions of Nigeria has adopted that similar act. So that simply makes it a kind of universal to an extent. So telling us that both the protection that is meant for men should also be extended, that is meant for women should also be extended to men. So what in essence, what we're trying to say is that men should also be protected like female when we have to do with gender-based violence. The way women claims rape, the way men claims domestic violence. Some women beat their husband. Some they do, and then you think that it's only men that is capable of beating women. So the laws should be universal enough to protect everybody in order to ensure that all forms of discrimination is eradicated from workplace and from the family. It's essential for us to note that. So we will also consider the reasons. What are the likely reasons why men should be protected? One, it makes the law more potent.
Of course.
Because if the majority is included in the protection, that means the law will become effective, sufficient enough to prohibit, to prevent, and to help mitigate occurrences of harassment in the society. Then, two, we also have the aspect of it reduces the occurrence rates, the crime rates, and the issues of reports about violence, because they are now under protection. and it makes them to speak out even when issues like that are affecting them. Then it ensures equal treatment in the society, as well as make the law effective. Then it also it helps them to grow in peace and make them to work peacefully in a peaceful assembly. So we really appreciate your audience. Hopefully in our next discussion, we want to introduce moving straight toward child abuse. And I'm sure that mothers can't wait to read about, to view this, to be educated on how to take care of their children in their house or in their homes. Thank you so much for your audience. I remain Dr. Mrs. Aina-Pelemo from Faculty of Law, Redeemers University. And with me here again is Dr. Paul Adole Ejebi from Benue State University. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate your presence. Thank you so much. So see you in our next video, but make sure you hit the red button, subscribe, like, and make your comment. Thank you.